I think it has to go back way back to my, to my, my upbringing and the value system that my parents and my family instilled in me.
Hello, this is Abhilash Jaykumar, co-founder and managing director of Trust Vista. On today's Trust Vista Talk, I have the pleasure of being joined by Wray Thorn, partner at Focus Impact Partners. Wray recently launched Focus in the middle of the pandemic to be an impact-oriented investment firm. But prior to that, Wray has built the private investment business at Two Sigma and was previously a senior managing director at Marathon. And he currently sits on many boards and advisory boards for not-for-profits. Wray, thank you so much for joining us today.
Abby, it's great to see you, and thanks for inviting me.
Before we talk about Focus, I met you first nearly 10 years ago when you were doing another startup venture, and that was at Two Sigma Private Investments. And when I met you, you responded to a cold email, which nobody does anymore these days. You were 8 people. You took the meeting yourself, met me at a coffee shop. You came to meet me in Midtown, right? And then, can you talk about what your experience was like at Two Sigma? Maybe share where it ultimately got to.
Sure. Yeah, indeed. And that was you have a great memory. That was, I remember one of my early meetings at Two Sigma when I joined. Two Sigma is a tremendous firm. It was started by John Overdeck and David Siegel about a little more than 20 years ago. The firm is focused on using data science and technology to innovate the investment management industry. And I had the good fortune to meet the two founders in 2011 as they were looking to expand the portfolio of activities of the company to include private investing. And so over the course of my 10 years with Two Sigma, we built 4 different private investment businesses, including a venture business, a private equity business, an insurance company, and an impact investment business. And we grew our private investment assets to probably close to $6 billion. We made investments in over 100 companies. We had a team of about 100 people that we built over time, and our goal was across all of those investment activities to try to find ways to innovate private investing using Two Sigma's capabilities in data science and technology, and of course to make really great investments in really great companies and help founders and entrepreneurs and CEOs build terrific businesses over time. And so that was how we got started, and what we were able to achieve during that period of time. Two Sigma Private Investments is continuing to do well and to grow, and I'm very excited to have been a part of it from the beginning.
Yeah, I think you're probably being too humble saying you're being a part of it, right? I mean, growing an asset management isn't almost, you can say you built 4 asset management businesses and 100 professionals in 10-year time frame is quite an accomplishment. But you were working at another organization before that at a very senior role as well. What motivated you to step into a startup type of situation 10 years ago?
Well, it's really had a lot to do with the tremendous company that Two Sigma is, and any company is a collection of its team and its individuals. The tremendous leadership that John and David brought to the organization. And combining that with a great opportunity with really a blank sheet of paper and a tremendous amount of resource and support, we were able to define our objectives and then build strategies to try to achieve those objectives, and over time recruit excellent team members and professionals to help execute on that strategy. And then I was able to be a leader in terms of managing the investment process and managing a number of investments with great, as I said, founders and CEOs and entrepreneurs who were excited about partnering with us to build their companies.
Building an asset management business, a lot of folks make the mistake of thinking they're an investor when they launch an investment firm, right? And it really is being an entrepreneur yourself and building a business with functions that are scalable. You took that private investment business to quite a scale, and when probably some might say it's peak, you left to do another startup. Can you maybe share what was the thought process?
Yeah, it was not an easy decision to leave Two Sigma. It's a great company and great people, and we'd had some initial success in building our investment management businesses. But I turned 50 during the COVID crisis, and I decided if I was ever going to be an entrepreneur myself and an owner of a business, that this was the time to do it. And I'd spent the last 5 or 6 years at Two Sigma working on helping to build and lead an impact-oriented investment business, and where we had hopefully both the potential to do not only well financially, but also do good in the world, and hopefully find opportunities where those define a strategy where you could find opportunities where those two things were aligned, and even more than aligned, where one was, we're doing good, was an alpha generator for doing well and generating incremental financial returns. And so when I left Two Sigma to if you will, be an entrepreneur again, I had the good fortune to connect with a few partners that I'd known for some period of time to launch Focus Impact with that mission orientation in mind, where we're endeavoring at Focus Impact to invest in companies, to build an investment management business that invests in companies that are good companies, in part because they're creating good outcomes for people, and where the better outcome for either their customers or their employees that they're creating and generating, the better business they'll be. And so our approach to impact is very much focused on people and helping businesses create better outcomes for their employees and customers, and hopefully thereby be much better businesses, win in their marketplaces and grow companies of and size and scale. Not only to do well, and not only to do well financially, but also hopefully create more of the good that they're doing in the world.
And you mentioned doing good as an alpha generator. How much of this strategy is driven by it's a good strategy to create great returns, and how much is driven by your own personal sense of having purpose?
Well, frankly, it's both, and both are equally important. That's a term of art in the industry, often referred to as double bottom line investing, where we are looking for market level returns, top quartile returns in a private equity context, but we're also importantly looking for measurable outcomes across the impact goals that we've defined, and we've used 4 different UN Sustainable Development Goals to define as their acknowledged goals, all of which are related to people outcomes, to define our impact goals for our investment activities. And so we're trying to achieve both of those things. I'd say at the same time, but it's even deeper than that. In that, where if we can help a company, be better at the impact that it's having, either for its customers or its employees, well, that should be really good business for that company. That should help that company either have more customers, have a lower cost of customer acquisition, have more repeat customers, have customers that have a higher propensity to pay for what they're, the service or the product that they're affording. And on the other hand, if the impact is around their employees, we should be able to build the best businesses with the best employees that have the lowest cost of retention and recruiting, that have the most productive employees because they're hopefully the longest, tenured employees, have the most satisfied employees, so they're happy in their job and with their work, and therefore doing a great job for the company. And so we think those businesses that are creating the best outcomes for their customers and their employees, that are measuring those outcomes, that are communicating them and celebrating them, that are creating opportunities for their customers and their employees to win when the company wins, we think those are going to be the best businesses, and therefore are going to be and we want to help those companies grow and increase in value over time as a result.
Yes, certainly the double bottom line is a common phrase in the impact world, but for a lot of LPs, they're not quite familiar with impact yet. If you're in it, you think it's the world, but I'm sure you're having conversations where you're having to educate people on how impact investing isn't charity. And how do you see that conversation? How has that evolved over the last maybe 10 years, right? Do you still find a lot of people you have to explain, no, we're not sacrificing returns here?
Well, I think there's an increasing attention being paid to the importance of doing what doing good while doing well. ESG has certainly been a trend that has permeated both the public and private investment universes, and ESG is a framework for measuring and talking about a value system that extends beyond the financial return of a business. I've always thought about ESG is really an articulation of a value system that reflects just how you want to do business. How you'd like to wake up in the morning, as I think Jamie Dimon said it well. Wake up in the morning and do the best you can for your customers and do the best you can for your employees. And that's to me proactively applying that framework and that value system in your investment process is taking it one step further and helping companies be better at what they're doing for their employees and for their customers, because that's going to be really good for the business over time. And so to me, it's not sacrificial from a return standpoint. In fact, actually quite the opposite. It's enhancing from a return standpoint.
I think a lot of people make the mistake thinking ESG is some kind of investment strategy, whereas really it's just a risk management framework.
Correct. Yes, and I think it's both a risk management framework and it's also a value system, that allows you to, in a language that allows you to talk about, how you'd like to operate, how you'd like to operate your business.
I can say you've been doing this for 30 years, right?
It's a little hard to believe, but that is actually true.
So, obviously the value system of the financial service industry continues to evolve. The value system of investors and what they believe their money can do apart from generating returns has evolved. Can you maybe take us back even further? And where did you first have your sense of purpose overlap with what you want to accomplish professionally? And how has this conversation on ESG and impact evolved over that period of time?
I think it has to go way back to my my upbringing and the value system that my parents and my family instilled in me around what it is to be a good person, what it is to be a good good fellow human being, if you will, and to treat others the way that you'd like to be treated yourself. And so I've endeavored to bring that approach to humanity into what I've done in business, and so being able to as the investment community is the private investment community has evolved over the last 30 years, being able to proactively apply that that value system and approach to generate incremental alpha, I think is actually really exciting and really rewarding. In many ways, it is the direction that I think business really needs to head. Not to be too much on a soapbox, but government philanthropy is tremendous, and it has a lot of can do a lot of good in the world, but it is limited by the individual philanthropist, and so its ability to be sizable and scalable is has some challenges. And of course, government can do some things well, but has a tremendous amount of challenges in terms of and conflicts of interest and motivational questions of mixed motivations. And so business, I think, has a role in particularly as it relates to people, in driving better outcomes for people over time. And it shouldn't be just because it's the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do, but it should be also, and it can be also, because it's really good for business. And I do wish, in many ways, that the many leaders in this, in this arena would talk a little bit more like, like someone like Jamie Dimon, who talks about it being not just, something that's the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do, but also it's the right thing to do for business, for a business that wants to grow and succeed and be the best company it can be.
Yeah, I've always said in the long term, all of us have interests that are aligned. It's in the short term or arbitrary time frames where those interests can diverge. So, you as an entrepreneur, myself as an entrepreneur, we start something not thinking automatically that we're going to sell this off in 5 years, right? So the time frame in which we think about building businesses is in decades. And if you think in decades, you need to be part of the society in which you're selling into, right? And you need to be a good member of that society. I think, the deviation often comes when people think about investing in a 5-year time frame or a 3-month time frame, right? But if you're really investing in your own business or in other businesses with a view towards the long term, then this is simple, business due diligence, right?
Yes.
You fit in the society, whether your customers, your employees, your vendors, that, you're going to have a seat at the table because you're a good person.
Yeah. And I think it's worth, it might be interesting to illustrate, by way of an example. We're working on an investment today that we hope to close, that Trade Vista has been very helpful to us on, by the way. We very much appreciate that. We have an excellent team, and we're grateful for the support as we're starting out our business. It's in the consumer experiences space. And in fact, it's actually in the consumer experiences space around pets. Where creating the company's mission is to create opportunities for pets and pet parents to have tremendous experiences together, and so that there's certainly a benefit, I think, to people, from being able to spend more positive time with their pets and with other pet parents. But importantly, it's the employees of the business. We call them skippers, the team members of the business that are affording these really great experiences for the pets and their parents, to be able to spend time together in a really positive, fun, safe, enjoyable environment. And so being able to recruit and retain the best employees who love what they do and who have a great jobs culture is really key to this company's success. And so the more that we can help that company, build its jobs culture, celebrate its great employment practices, and help and recruit and retain the best employees that love what they do and are providing a really great service, and creating great experiences for pets and their parents, the better that company is going to do over time. And so I think it's a great example of where there's strong alignment and even alpha generation for this particular company to create, to be the best employer it can be, and create, have a super strong jobs culture, and create the most, and hopefully by helping that company grow, we can help it create the most good jobs possible.
Thinking about your own business, going to this thinking long term, you started Focus just over a year ago. What is your goal for Focus? Where is Focus 10 years, 20 years from now?
Well, right now, that's a great question. I mean, we hope to be able to build a multi-strategy investment management firm, not dissimilar from what I had the good fortune to be part of building at Two Sigma, but with the investment thesis, with this investment thesis around helping companies that are creating better outcomes for people be at the core of every investment strategy that we pursue. Right now we're in the very early innings of that. We're endeavoring to build our team. We're endeavoring to make our first couple of investments. We think we've got a really great strategy, and so we're hyper focused today on the early innings of execution. But we hope that we can have success and replicate that success into a multi-strategy investment management activity focused on private companies primarily, where we think we can help them not only do well financially, but also continue to do good for their employees and their customers.
Well, that's fantastic. I always said the key to doing many things is to do one thing well first, right? And I think that your name, Focus, and Impact are both right there as far as what your longer term strategy is. And so, we're very privileged to be a partner for you in doing this good work that you're doing, and are excited to continue to grow with you.